in the middle of those pictures being taken, I remember the photographer being out in front of me. And this one picture, the flash of the camera hit right at my face. And it was a rookie move. I looked into the flash. I know not to, but I did. And so I remember blinking and turning to just regain my focus. And I remember holding my finger up like this to tell the photographer, like, I just needed a few minutes. And he, understood clearly what was going on. I was blinking. And in that process of blinking, in these few seconds that happened, I ended up seeing myself in my head, like a little movie was playing. And I wasn't alarmed. It's not a big deal. I just saw a picture of myself as in a Polaroid to check the lighting and everything. So I thought that was just the image I was just seeing, was just myself when I was blinking kind of really fast to hurry up and kind of just get this day over with. But I noticed I had my hands cupped together at my waist, and then I raised them all the way up like that. And then out and up above me was the profile of a man's face. I could just tell it was a man's face, no more identification than that. And in that shadowy profile, he looked at my hands, and then he bowed his head in disappointment. So I pulled my hands right back down to look to see what was so disappointing and what was in them, what was that caused such a reaction. And I looked down, and my hands were completely empty. There's nothing in my hands. And there was this message and note, a word that my heart heard, and it just said, I made you for more. I made you for more. And I remember, this was just seconds, and I remember like shaking my head, and I kind of got teary-eyed really quick because it meant something. I remember thinking back immediately to a few weeks prior to the boardroom with the photo shoot and with the photographers and with the magazine editors and saying, we think you've got more to offer. And then in my heart, I hear this, no, I made you for more. And so the TV had been on from the moment that I walked in the apartment. And honest to God, to this day, I have no idea how or why, because I never turned on that TV, but it was on. And it had been on for days, for a couple of days while I was just sitting in my room, literally just getting up only to go to the bathroom and dealing with this mess. And the TV was on, and right when I was coming to a place of acceptance of ending my life, what broke me and broke this train of thought was this person on the TV. And for some reason, I don't know, it just seemed like they were louder than the other people previously were on the TV. Like the volume had been turned up, but I knew it didn't. But on the TV, this announcer said, we've just received word, it's official, John Paul II has just died. And I remember being in my bed and sitting up and just literally yelling, how could you leave me? How could you leave me now? How could you leave and abandon me now? Like I was the only Catholic in the Catholic Church, And this is hilarious because this is a person who I had very little interaction with prior, who in a sense, I joke around saying that we met. I was in a room of 10,000 people in St. Louis at one point when John Paul II visited the U.S. and I was there. And I felt this connection to him, and I loved him and loved his passion for people and all of that. But for whatever reason, I heard this, and I'm like, how could you leave me? I'm at the moment of my worst. I'm at the moment of contemplating life and death, and you're just going to leave? You're just going to die? It's just ridiculous. He has his choice. So it pulled me out, and I remember that note in my heart, right? I made you for more. And I just kind of felt that in my heart. And I felt that in my heart of, I made you for more. Don't be afraid. I remember putting my feet on the floor, and everything changed at that moment. For me, that's the moment of my reversion. It was the moment when I began to accept that maybe I am made for more. Maybe there is something better out there that I can live my life and I could actually do something that matters. Surely there are people in our lives who need help. Surely there are people in our lives who need to be told that there is an answer to their problems. Are we brave enough to say, I know a man? Are we brave enough to say, I know someone who can help you? Are we brave enough to say, can I pray for you? Can I fast for you? Are we just so scared that we're going to offend? Or someone's going to think we're crazy? Or think we're just a little too religious? Or we like Jesus a little too much? I live my life in that realm. And it does not end well. And now I use a definition from Aquinas, and I encourage you, if you don't have a definition of love, that you should too. And you can take his. He won't care because he's dead. But that love is desiring the greatest good for the beloved. It will never use or abuse. So when we love someone, we want the greatest good for them. And when they love us, they should want our greatest good. And I got to a place where I just began, I don't know. I mean, for me, when I read what John Paul II said there at the address to World Youth Day in Rome in 2000, it inspired me to look at my life and be like, I have been given a duty. All of us have been given a duty and a right and a talent to change the world. We all have that duty, but what will we do with it? Do we actually accept it? Or do we just go through life, ho-hum, I'll just figure it out along the way. I won't really make waves. I'm too scared to say something. I'm too scared to stand up. That's not what we're called to do. And we know it because there's this call, there's a feeling, there's a pull, and there's a drag on your heart and my heart that calls us to do more, that calls us to be more human. Because personally, what has happened out there in this world, and it hasn't just been the past 20 years or the 50, for the past couple hundred years, we have forgotten what it is to be human. We have forgotten who we are. And when we forget who we are, it's very easy to forget also whose we are and how to act and how to treat people. And then we begin to use them. And then we think it's no big deal to kill them in a variety of different ways, bodily and spiritual. And we forget how connected we are to one another, that we are each other's neighbors, we are each other's brothers and sisters in Christ, and how we treat one another and how we love each other matters greatly. One of my deepest appreciations of John Paul II is his ability to get at the notion of what love really is. It's the fact that love makes us human. Love helps us imitate Christ. And that is our call and our duty, 100%. It is Jesus when you dream of happiness. He is waiting for you when nothing else satisfies you. He is the beauty to which you are so attracted to. It is he who provokes you with that thirst for fullness that will not let you settle for compromise. It is he who actually urges you to shed the mask of false life. It is he who reads in your heart your most genuine choices, the choices that others try to stifle. It is Jesus who stirs in you the desire to do something great with your lives. The will to follow an ideal, the refusal to allow yourselves to be grounded down by mediocrity, and the courage to commit yourself humbly and patiently to improving yourself and society, making the world more human and more fraternal. And as John Paul II said, you are unique and you are unrepeatable. Therefore, the work that you will do in this world will be just that. It will be unique and it will be unrepeatable, and only you can do it. Only you can do it. Nobody else can pick up your slack. Nobody else will finish what you started because they won't do it just like you. And you have got something amazing to do in this world. Just as Jesus said, just as John Paul II said, do not be afraid. Who cares what they think? Do we love as Christ loved? Do we care for people as Christ cared for people? Do we remind ourselves of what it is to be human and then help the world remind them of what it is to be human? To seek truth, seek beauty, and to seek love.